Why would those particular documents disappear just after they were made public and gained a little bit of notoriety? It seems to me impossible any longer to try to avoid the accusation or avoid making the accusation that this government is in service to Donald Trump and protecting him against allegations, credible accusations, that he raped children. And this story from Roger Sullenberger just lays it all bare. Excuse me. Did not get a lot of sleep last night. This story from Roger Sullenberger on his Substack, but also I'm going to read a tweet to you, is remarkable because there's a lot of people who are into the Epstein files, reading and cross-referencing and finding patterns, and they're going back to documents that they had once referenced and finding that they are gone. After a document gets notoriety and gets some publicity, that there are interviews out there that Donald Trump with victims, alleged victims, who say Donald Trump didn't just rape me once, he raped me multiple times. All of a sudden, those documents from the Epstein files that are protected and forced to be public under the law that Donald Trump signed and Republicans voted for, all of a sudden they disappear from the website. Why would those particular documents disappear just after they were made public and gained a little bit of notoriety in the public's eye? If not for protecting a pedophile, if not for protecting Donald Trump, not in service to justice, not in service to justice for the victims and getting to the bottom of this. We know that there was criminality because there has been convictions. Ghislaine Maxwell sits in a cushy but federal prison right now for her crimes. Jeffrey Epstein, before his unceremonious death, was convicted of trying to secure a teenage girl for prostitution. Like a 14-year-old girl, not an 18-year-old girl. So we know that there are crimes that we're talking about here. This is a tweet from Roger Sullenberger. News: the FBI interviewed an Epstein victim who accused Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was underage, not once, but at least 4 times. And the document that shows those additional interviews appears to have been deleted from the DOJ website. Now, I'm going to read just a few paragraphs from his Substack. Let me tell you, Roger Sullenberger, there are people out there, when I talk about good work being done, you need to support that work if you have the means to do so. Roger Sullenberger, if you're at all interested in following this particular saga, there's a few people out there who have done the due diligence and the work and have the expertise of investigatory matters to go through and connect the dots. Julie K. Brown is one. I subscribe to her. Roger Sullenberger, I also subscribe to his Substack. And if you have it in you, whether interest-wise or dollar-wise, to support good work, you should do that. This is from him, Roger Sullenberger, on Substack. DOJ removed record of multiple FBI interviews with underage Trump accuser, Epstein data shows. The FBI spoke at least 4 times with a woman who credibly accused Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was a minor. That document is no longer accessible on the DOJ website. Why would that be? If they're out to protect the victims, if they're out there to provide justice, to do the job that we pay them to do at the Department of Justice, why would they delete those? On Sunday, I, meaning Roger Sullenberger, reported that the FBI interviewed a victim who accused President Donald Trump of sexually and violently assaulting her when she was 13 to 15 years old. I also reported that some of the Justice Department's case files for this woman, who later sued and reportedly received a settlement from Jeffrey Epstein's estate for sexual abuse allegations in the same time frame, appear to be missing from the government's publicly searchable Epstein database. However, I have now found DOJ records showing that the FBI did not just interview this woman once. The FBI interviewed this woman who claimed that Trump forced her to give him oral sex when she was in her early teens. Jesus. Then punched her in the head after she bit his penis and kicked her out at least 4 times. How morally depraved must you, how in the cult must you be to know the crimes that you're covering for related to your boss, Donald Trump? Is being Attorney General that meaningful? Is being a cabinet secretary that meaningful that you're willing to cover up for Donald Trump's horrific crimes, sexual crimes against little girls? It doesn't seem like it would be to me. But I'm not bereft of morality. I'm not bereft of decency. I'm not MAGA. But the DOJ's file associated with those records, a document cataloging information that the government provided counsel for convicted Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell during her trial, has apparently been removed. This revelation adds to the mounting pile of evidence undermining statements from Attorney General Pam Bondi and other senior administration officials, assuring the public that the Epstein file release has been transparent, complete, and bereft of any evidence implicating Trump in wrongdoing. That's the other thing they've said. And Donald Trump continues to say that. He just said it the other day on his way back to Washington on Air Force One that he's been totally exonerated. The fuck you have, brother. How about this particular claim that you think deleting the document means you've been exonerated? You child rapist ghoul? I don't think it is. But my initial report also raised questions about files associated with the victim's case number, 3501.045, that do not appear to be in the Epstein database. In other words, the case seems to be incomplete. Today, I searched for the victim's case in the AI-powered database epstein-data.com of files that have been downloaded at some point from the DOJ's public release data. That turned up a document I hadn't seen before, showing that the FBI conducted not one, but 4 interviews with the victim. The 4 interviews took place in the summer of 2019 after the initial tip was given in the days following Epstein's arrest. The document also accounts for FBI quote-unquote interview notes associated with 3 of those 4 interviews. Here's a screenshot of the records, and here is that screenshot. Look, a lot of people have said, well, you can, any tip line, anybody, any crazy, any lunatic, anybody can just call into a tip line and create chaos. That's not what this is. This is likely, or very possibly, what happened. Someone calls a tip line. They give information that is credible enough to warrant an actual visit from an FBI agent, and then they conduct an interview, and it gets recorded on a 302. It is then elevated to more a serious thing, a more credible thing. It's not just the tip line where they transcribe the phone call. That's what we're talking about here. And this is being deleted, erased. Evidence of Donald Trump's crimes are being erased. The only reason the public can see that screenshot today is because in late January, this Epstein database document happened to get saved in the Wayback Machine, a web page archiving service. Here's a link to the archived record of the document. I will put a link to his Substack in this video. Go subscribe to a Substack. Go read this particular document, this article here, because this reporting, I'm not reading all of it at all. I'm just giving you just a little bit of a flavor to hopefully spark you, motivate you to do some research and to gain some more understanding about what's going on here. The AI database also saved this file before the document was taken offline, and the database associates that file with a DOJ internet address, and this is the address. But as of this writing today, that address returns page not found. They're covering up. What are they covering up for? Donald Trump. They're not covering up for Bill Clinton's crimes, and I believe there are crimes. They're not covering up for Bill Gates' crimes, Woody Allen's crimes, Prince Andrew's crimes. They're covering up for Donald Trump's crimes. The DOJ, Donald Trump's personal law firm. Tribunal time, if you ask me. Nobody's asking me But I believe there needs to be something extraordinary done when all of this is over and these ghouls are out of office in order to set things right. To reinstill some trust in our Department of Justice, to reinstill trust from other nations on us, other nations who are actually taking care of their trash, dealing with their garbage. Like Great Britain in this instance, arrested Prince Andrew today. The son of the King of England was arrested for his involvement and possible participation in pedophilia, of raping little girls. And our president apparently is untouchable. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. You can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. You can also email me daily@dollamore.com. Please consider supporting the work. Make sure you're subscribed. I got a Patreon, blah, 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 all the things. There's a reason we're a laughingstock right now, and that reason is justified. His name is Donald Trump. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.